Dolphins thirsty, they never show no mercy. On the field or in the game, Miami knows how to play. Dolphins thirsty, we all get down and dirty. Tell you what you wanna know, it's the Dolphins Show. Quench your thirst for all things Miami Dolphins. They are the football kings, cause they play to win. Come on in and have some fun, whether we have lost or we have won. For all things Miami, it's Dolphins Thursday.
Good morning, Miami Dolphin fans, on this fantastic Friday as the Dolphins get set to take on the division rivals New York Jets at 1 p.m. Sunday at Hard Rock Stadium, and I will be there. So it should be fun. My two sons and I will be there and can't wait to get that bad taste of last Monday night out of our mouths once and for all. Get back on victory lane. It's a much needed victory. If ever a non-elimination game is a must win, this is a must win. Fans of the Fins, this is a must win for our Miami Dolphins. No excuses. They're coming in hobbled. We just signed a guy off the street, basically, that hasn't played in the NFL for a long time, and he may be playing this week. So it's not very pretty. But at the end of the day, there's no excuses in the NFL. No team's going to feel sorry for you, like, oh, let's us play our backup since they're hurting. No, the Jets are going to come here to ruin our season. Miami needs to take up that next man up mentality and start playing playoff caliber football this week, or this season could go into dismay. It's very concerning along the offensive line. I'm not going to be trying to sugarcoat it. Very scary, very concerned. But as that old saying is, that a lot of people don't like to say because it means that you don't care, but it is what it is. We have no control of it. You got to play with the cards you've been dealt. And sometimes those cards aren't that great, but you got to bluff your way to victory. And we've got to do. Hey, Hooked Up Joe, I'm going to drop a link in a minute. Today is going to be an open forum Friday, so we will be having a link. I just want to get a couple things off my chest. First, about the offensive line. All year, Bushbury, the scheme of McDaniel, whatever you want to call it, has done a good job of overcoming a lot of bumps along the way. When you think of it, there's only one position on the whole offensive line. I almost don't want to say it. I don't believe in jinxes, but I feel at the same time, if I say it might be a jinx, there's only one guy that hasn't missed, one starter that hasn't missed time along that offensive line. And it's been brutal. It's just been brutal, to say the very least. And to the fact that we may be down to a center that was about to sit down on his couch and watch Netflix, is kind of concerning. Hey, nothing against Netflix, nothing than sitting down watching Netflix. But when that's your center that no other team had on the radar, and you're bringing in that may have to play with your playoff lives on the line, it's a little bit concerning. Hopefully he goes out there and balls, and he's like a Bernie Parmalee story. Hey, he was working for UPS and he came, and now he's setting, he's doing great along the offensive line. He's blowing people up. The Dolphins' offensive line is doing awesome. So maybe it'd be one of those Cinderella stories. But it's very concerning as we sit here on the Friday before the Jets game. Hey, Back It Up Fins podcast. A big fins up to you, sir. And always check out the Back It Up Fins podcast for cool contents and hard-hitting, quick videos, professionally sounding done. Awesome stuff over there at the Back It Up Bins podcast, guys. Check it out. So, guys, we've beat down that game last week to the T. No need to kick a dead horse. We know the outcome of that game. It's time to go all in on beating this New York Jets team. And I will bring Hookup Joe in if he can come in today. If not, he can write his comment, but he had some good thoughts over on the Miss Finn show this morning about why it's difficult to run down in the red zone. But I will say though, when they did give Mozart his chances down there later in the game, he did produce 2 touchdowns for our Miami Dolphins. So you got to at least try to punch it in there, at least on first and sing it down, maybe, or at least on first down. Then if that doesn't work, do a play action on sing it down and do whatever you have to do on third down. Get in there. And it's funny because that was the one game McDaniel was not Riverboat McDaniel. I thought maybe at times he was just thinking, oh, just getting field goals against this team would be good enough since he saw we were kind of struggling on offense, but we were holding okay on defense. Because a lot of times in those goal to goal situations on fourth down and you're right there, he would go for it, but he chose to kick field goals both times. Very unlike his earlier season demeanor where he would just go for it. Maybe it was just a vibe he was getting from the game. Like I said, oh man, points might be valuable. Let's just get some points when we can. So who knows? Because a touchdown on one of those drives is a big difference in the game. So, that's what I will say. But the good thing is that we're almost on the new week. It is Friday. The Jets are right on the horizon. Always good to have a division rival on the docket and try to get back on that winning side. Uh, Hey, good morning, Michael K. Good morning, Outback Morgan. What is starting online going on? That's gonna be a scary thing, Outback. That's what I was saying. It's a scary thing. Still don't really know 100% about Armstead. He's always listed on the injury list. I don't think there's been a week he hasn't been listed on the injury list since he's been a Miami Dolphin, it feels like. So Armstead's on the injury list. He's more day to day, so he has a better chance. Hunt seems week to week. Eichenberg was in a walking boot. We signed a guy off the street that was about to watch Netflix. We do got Robert Hunt, you know, and then Robert Hunt. Sorry, Jackson. We do have Austin Jackson. I just said Lamar Hunt's hurt, and then I said his name again. We do have Austin Jackson, so it's kind of a little bit positive, but it's brutal in other words. And I don't know. We're gonna get a good taste come Sunday. Who's active, who's inactive, and who's starting for us. So it should be quite scary, but hey, no excuses, man. This is a non-excuse league in the NFL. Every team goes through their injuries, and you got to find a way to overcome those injuries. So the Jets come into town. Their offense is not very good. Their defense is good. So, they're definitely a defensive team. I kind of went over it yesterday, but just to retouch, the Jets have the fifth total defense, number 5 in all the NFL. Passing defense, they rank very high. They're the number 2 passing defense in the NFL, only allowing 167 yards a game in the air. That's where their strong suit is. This is where the Dolphins have to try to take advantage. Is in the running game. The Jets come in at 28th in the running game. They are allowing 131 yards on average, 132 basically, if you round it up, 132 yards running per game. So you can do that. You can take advantage, but they do come in the top 10 in scoring defense, allowing, I think they're like in the top 10 in scoring defense. Yes, they're number 8 in scoring defense, number 8 in the scoring defense, averaging under 20 points a game, just at 19.8. So you can say 20 points a game. And the red zone defense is 5th best. So they have some good, but on their 17th, they're tied for 17th best third down defense. So there may be some opportunities to keep drives moving and keep that chains moving and take advantage of their not so great maybe third. They're right in the middle of the lead on that front. So there are some hope in that side. Hey, shake money in the house. Big fins up to him and the Fins Tailgate Network. They seem to be going 24/7. There's always something on their channel going, and it's usually fins up related. So check them out as well. Good stuff going on over there. Canes Dolphins 89. Big fins up to you coming in. All right, guys. I got off like I said, this is basically the plan today is open forum Friday. So I would drop a link for anyone that wants to join. And there we go. There's the link, guys. We will talk all things fins up. Try to be as positive as possible, but if you got your concerns, of course, you can voice those concerns. Hey, G Man, big fins up to you. Thank you for joining this Friday morning from your neck of the woods. Hey, Adam. Thank you for joining us. It's rainy here. The weather forecast for Sunday, it's also calling for rain, but by one, it looks a little better than if they're on ball. If they're off by a few hours, it could be raining at 1 o'clock. So who knows? We will find out soon enough. Hopefully, the weather holds up. For one, I'm going to be there. I am on the upper level in this game, though, so I will be under the cover. So as long as I don't get soaked walking into the stadium or soaked walking out of the stadium, I won't be affected by the weather so much. But I don't want our Dolphins playing in slop. I want us to be able to go out there and play a clean game and win. So, oh, I don't know, guys, if you watched that game. I didn't really watch much of it last night, but my son told me, "Do you see the Raiders are about to put 70?" So I turned on the end. They didn't quite get to 70, but the Raiders scored 63 last night. That was crazy. They had a lot of defensive touchdowns. I don't know. That Chargers coach is going to be fired probably sometime today or tomorrow, or if not, definitely at the end of the season. Or you guys may report to me here before my show's over that he's been fired. But they're only like at 7 in the morning out there, West Coast time. So we will see on that front. But I can't imagine him surviving this mess after the season for sure. Thank you, Michael K. Yes, don't if you're going to be all negative Ned, don't drop in. And I know you, Mr. Bills fan, will be. So thank you for the community service. Thank you, Michael K. It's South Florida and heat and humidity expected to be in North. It's on this. Yeah, no, hey, no, you're right there, man. South Florida and heat and humidity expected, and it. Oh, believe me, man, I live here all the time in wonderful Pembroke Pines, not too far from the stadium, like a 30-minute ride maybe. So I know that's for sure. But hey, I just hope it's not this slop down rain. I've been at games where I was at the Pittsburgh game many moons ago when it just poured and it was a direct time. It was just a downpour. Waters were pouring down the stairs. It was nasty. So I don't want anything like that. But I don't think it's going to be that much because the rains we've been having has been more of like a misty rain the past few days. Like if we were up north, we would probably be getting snow. Hey, thank you, man, coming in from Facebook. Thank you, man. Big fins up to Thomas. If I messed up your name, I'm sorry. But coming in from the Facebook side of things. Um, Hooked up Joe, if you're in here, you want to drop in, please drop on in. I know you wanted to discuss some things. You said if you were able to join the show, that would be awesome. Timothy, big fins up to you for the win. Sweep the Jets. Yes, Timothy, we definitely need to sweep the Jets. We already swept the Patriots, so if we can sweep the Jets, it'd be nice and get one against the Bills. So I hope we get one against the Bills. Sorry, Michael K, but it is what it is. I need that. Say goodbye to your coach, Diggs. There, your QB is a super talented loser. Let's see. A big big cool stuff. Hey, a little Twitter comment, I guess, actually coming in. That's cool. Milanos. And if I screw up, guys, your name is not by disrespect. It's just I'm known to butcher names from time to time. Let's see. I was born in Pembroke Pines and raised in Miramar. All right, so yeah, same neck. I was actually born and raised in Dade County, down in the Kendall area. Lived there most of my young life, and then late 20s I moved to Pembroke Pines and has never moved out since, and now I'm in my 50s, so time flies fast. uh, dig this. Yep, I know. That's why I say there are so many injuries out there on in football. But man, it just seems like the Dolphins every year is one position group that just gets decimated with injuries. Last year, our defensive backs were, when we had to play Cater Coho, an undrafted rookie in critical crunch time. Hey, he's learned. It's good experience in the long run for him because now he's out there playing well, but he had to just learn under fire last year because all of our guys were banged up. And now we are joined by Hooked Up Joe. Welcome to the show. Friday, Joe.
What's happening? Big
Nothing
Friday
much. So,
for the
what's your
game.
concerns? I was curious because you said there was too much to write, so that you would have to join a show. So I said, you know what? I'm going to make it an open forum Friday, and if Joe comes into my show, I'm going to drop the links. So, what is your concern about running in the red zone with behind this offensive line we currently have?
It's weak. I mean, when you get down to it, we've been masking the offensive line all year. Everybody's talking about how great our offensive line is due to stats. And, you can look at stats and say it looks like we're doing great because we have such few number of sacks and all that. But realistically, the reason we're able to run the ball and we have such people, what I've been seeing is people are saying, we're averaging 5 or 6 yards a carry. Why the hell are we not running it when we have 1 yard to go? Why are we not running it in the red zone? And it's not like the run game coordinator, McDaniels, doesn't know when and how to run the ball.
Right.
It's we have an offensive line that can't get a push. If you look at our offensive line, what direction is going? When they snap that ball, what direction is our offensive line moving? It's moving
Right.
backwards towards us every time. That's why Tua has to run backwards 5 yards and then run around and look around and try to shoot that thing off. And it's been like that all year. When we had Armstead and Connor and, the few games where we had a real offensive line in there, we did do great. I mean, that's when we just did ridiculously good. But
Right.
um, the when you can't get a push, you're not gonna get 1 yard when they know you need 1 yard. If we stand up there and try to pound it right down the middle for a yard, we're not gonna get it
Yeah, no,
when
I
they
agree
know
on
we're
that
gonna
one. When
do
it's
it.
like really short yardage and we need that 1 yard, we're not that good. But I think on a first down run, maybe down in the goal line area, and they're not expecting it because we do pass a lot in that situation, that we may be able to get something in that case. Because if you looked at the end of the game, Mozart did get two rushing touchdowns when they finally
Right.
ran it down.
And that
You
is how
know,
we get them is we spread it out because we do, and that's one reason we just don't pound it every time too. Kind of that's case in point a little bit in that if we just ran it every time, then we'd just be running it every time. They'd stop us because our offensive line's not good enough to do that. But because we usually pass and then we spread it out, we can give it to Armstead and they run that shifty O line that they run and kind of slip it up in there. You notice even it's usually Mostert going around one side or around the other side. I mean, rarely are you seeing him just slam right through the middle. We've seen it, but it didn't happen in much.
no,
Somebody,
no, I know. I agree. And before I bring in Justin for some of his thoughts, I want to give a big welcome to Evan Posner, who just slipped in the room, who's with the Finns Talk Sports Network. And who else slipped? Oh, Timothy Washington and someone else. Oh, Dolphin Don. Thank you guys for sleeping in. I mean, sleeping in. Yeah, we're all sleepy this Friday morning. Sneaking into the Dolphins thirsty room here today. Guys, before I forget, nail those thumbs up for me. It helps the channel and it's all free for you. So, Justin, how are you this morning?
I'm doing good. Can you hear me? I don't know why
Yeah, I hear you.
it wouldn't bring up my camera.
Yeah, that's
Um,
fine. We hear you though.
yeah, I'm doing good, man. Just another icy and snowy day here in Colorado. Just getting busy. Got to get after it this morning. Um, I don't know, man. I think this is going to be a crazy week of football. I think we need to be prepared to play from the beginning of the game. You don't want to come not prepared to play. Like when we went to Germany, I don't think we were really ready to go. We didn't really wake up till like the third quarter. This is no week to mess around. We really need to start taking all these games super seriously. Ready to play, ready to win every game. Get it off to a quick start as well. Um, Honestly, I don't mind if you're going to pass it, but just make sure they're high percentage passes, especially early. Because if you can start laying the points on early, then you can run the ball late, if you know what I mean.
Yep. No, I agree with, and fins up to you, Steve Malloy, also of the Fins Talk
Morning,
Sports
Steve.
Network and my channel. So, and Justin just gave you a Steve, there, Steve and Evan both are in the room. So, Joe, no, you did bring up some good points too, Joe. It's for whatever reason, and it's been a few years thing when you really just need 1 yard for whatever reason, and we try to run it, we get stuffed behind the line of scrimmage. So I understand those concerns, but you can, like you said, maybe spread it out on first downs, give them that look that you're going to throw, and then run Mozart up there because that was working in the goal line this past week. I mean, that's when we got those 2 touchdowns, Joe, so
Yeah.
we can
Timothy
do it.
Timothy Washington's making a good point here too about
Let me see what
our
he's saying.
team running reps. We after 6 snaps, we had to switch our offensive line around to where they didn't have reps that week. They're doing these practice when we do our practice, we practice plays, new plays, and we get the play down pat, and then we put it into the playbook. And when your offensive linemen weren't part of that, and those plays that we have, we don't just have a playbook. We have a fluid playbook, and our plays change every single game with new plays coming in every single game that are geared towards our opponent. And when the guys that are not taking the reps for those special plays get in the game, those plays that we have that are specially designed go out the window, and we have to reduce our playbook to our vanilla standard playbook in order to continue the game. So his point of regardless of who it is, if they can actually do the reps for the position, and if we had enough depth where we could bring in somebody up from a position and not have to everybody play musical chairs, it would make a huge difference too. But we don't have that right now, right? So at least if our guys can work all week in their positions and stay in that position for the game, then we're going to have a hell of a chance, a better chance to run away with it.
No, I
Real
agree.
quick
We play
about
this.
real
Oh,
quick
go ahead,
about
Justin.
well, real quick about what he was just talking about bringing in backup offensive linemen and not getting the same reps. In reality, like, they do 2 walkthroughs, which if you know what a walkthrough is, if you've ever been part of football or practice or anything, you're only going over the game plan and you're walking through the plays at like 40%, 50%, and you're not going all out. It's not a padded practice. It's shirts and helmets, and you're
Right.
walking through the play. So they're going over those plays you're talking about, but they're not going over them at full game speed. They're not getting full practice game reps, like in a scrimmage reps, the offense versus defense, blah, 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 all that good stuff. So they're going over those plays, but they're not very familiar with them at full speed. So then when they get in the game, like he's saying, it's like they're off just a half a hair, a second here or there. So then it throws off the whole rep. But during this time of the year, I'll say it one more time, everybody's dealing with these things and dealing with the injuries. So you just gotta do the best job you can.
No, no, for sure. And this is, like I said, if ever a game that's a non-elimination game, because really, technically, the only must-win games are elimination games. But this week for the Miami Dolphins, this is about as close to ever as a must-win for a non-elimination game there's ever been. You cannot come 2 losses in a row at home against teams that you're favored against, I would say. Not supposed to be, because I don't really like that term, but we all use it. But 2 teams that we're favored against, there's no excuse. You've got to come out at least 1 point ahead on the scoreboard against the Jets. You got to let it all out in the field. Do whatever you have to do, because Dallas is not going to be any piece of cake. Going into Baltimore is not going to be any piece of cake. And Buffalo coming down on the final game of the season is definitely going to be no piece of cake. So this is the game. You've got to go out there and get to that double-digit win and stay ahead in the AFC East, guys. It's just that simple. This is a must win for a non-elimination game. You guys agree on that?
Yeah, it's definitely a must-win game. I mean, we can't let
Yeah.
2 of these. Um, we had our one bad game last game. We need to leave it at that.
Yeah,
Just
that's
our O line has to stay on it and not get overpowered. I do hear the when it comes to a physical game, that's where we get beat up. So,
No, I know bullies
you
play.
know,
Billy, we've had our tough time against bullies, big, big tough teams that play bully ball. We've had our issues. Let me give Dolphin State of Mind big fins up before I give Justin the floor again. Guys, hit those thumbs up. We got a lot of people in this room today. I love it. It's great on a Friday. So hit those thumbs up. It helps the channel. Oh, we're getting some Facebook love today. Guys, all you listening on Facebook, we've had a few comments. I love it. Hit those thumbs up on Facebook. It also helps over there. So, Justin and Joe, whoever really wants to answer, do things like this, like if you're a player, probably, do you think seasons past creep into their mind, or are they professionals and they don't worry, like, oh crap, we were like this last year? Because we as fans, I think that's why we panic a little bit more. But do you think that ever resonates in a locker room, like, oh crap, man, we're doing the same crap we did last year? Do you think that, or are they pros and they just block that crap out?
Naturally, everybody's human, so they might have like a little bit of that come into their minds as players, as coaches, as all of that garbage. But the one thing you should remember is that, like you just said, they're pros. They got to approach us from a professional standpoint. At the end of the day, they all still get paid. So I don't really think that is going to be the matter on their minds. I think it's more of a matter of pride, more of a matter of, hey, we're going to show everybody that you're wrong. Like, I remember Austin Jackson called everybody out in the media and said, well, I'm going to prove you wrong. And so far he's been right. He bet on himself and has won to this point. I'd like to see a little bit more of that, like a little bit more of us, like, just, you got to play bully ball when you got to play bully ball. And when you get a chance to make a play, you got to make a play. Right now we're still hanging on by a thread, most people would think, but we'll be all right. You know what I mean? I don't think that's creeping in there. No, I don't think that has a factor.
All right. So how about you, Joe, with that same question? You think that creeps in? Like, us as fans, we start remembering all the failures of the past. You don't think players think like that? They just block out that noise and they just focus on the Jets this week, Joe?
I did hear them talking about it. They were like, last year is on their mind, where they just collapsed at the end. And I don't think they're thinking before last year. They definitely have last year as a bad taste in their mouth because it was them
Right.
with McDaniel and these people and everything. The fans have a deeper level of history here, and I don't think that if you look from a fan perspective, we're looking at a long period of time of failures. Our team, they're looking at last year and what happened, and we're not going to let that happen again. They could care less what happened the year before that or any time before that.
Right. Okay. I got, yeah, the players definitely that were on this team for sure. Hey, G man, welcome again, man. Blessed two times in a week getting you in here. Thank you.
Hey, what's going on, guys? I don't know if you guys have been reading my comments, but this question is pretty much for everybody. Do you think Chris Greer's done enough with all those high draft picks? Because I just listed all the players that he's drafted. They're all good players, but none of them have turned out to be great players, and that's the problem. You look at the 49ers, they have great players where we have good players. The only great player we have is Tyreek, and he had to trade for him.
We traded away our great players. We traded away,
Who?
Fitzpatrick and
Who?
we Greer did that. I'm saying Greer gave away the Tunzel. We got tons of draft picks for that. But to your point, we have a bunch of goods, and who do we have that's great?
Nobody.
That's
the problem.
Perspective. I kind of think we do have some great players, but I'm just going with your point here too.
I don't know, man. I hear where you're
players.
going with this. Like, I get it. You want everybody to be Tyreek level and everybody to be great, but I'm gonna be honest with you. Everybody's not going to be Tyreek Hill, bro. And I'll be honest with you, on the draft picks part, as far as the GM part goes, he's not hitting on every draft pick like everybody would like, but that's not drafting. You're not going to hit on every pick. But yeah, he has a lot of duds and he has too many reaches. And that's the problem, is the no Igbenogany's, the trading up for the Liam Eichenbergs. That's the issue.
Well, Justin, my point is this. Out of all those ones and twos, at least a couple of them should have developed into a great player. None of them have.
Where do you put Waddle?
I disagree with that, though.
Waddle is not great. I hate to break the news. He's not great.
But you put him as good.
He's good. So is
Okay.
Javon Holland.
I
Good.
mean, how many great players do you think you're going to get out of every draft, bro?
He had like 7 picks in the first 2
Yeah, no, he
rounds.
did.
How many great players are there in the NFL that meet your standards of great?
Okay.
Exactly. That's
Across
my
the
whole point.
entire
Okay.
NFL, what's your count of great
Okay.
players?
How many
If you
do the
name them
49ers?
all.
How many do the 49ers have? McCaffrey's great. The tight end is great. Debo Samuel's great.
They
Bosa's
traded
great.
for McCaffrey, and we traded for Tyreek.
Bosa's great. Fred Warner's great. What do we have?
I mean, granted, though, didn't.
Man, you're cracking me up right now, G-Man. You're too worried. It's like looking at another dude's girlfriend.
Dude,
Man, they got this, they got that. Just worry about what we got, man.
We didn't make the most out of those draft picks. We need greatness somewhere. Where's our great?
I know,
player?
but you can't as a fan do anything about that. No one
I
can,
know.
bro.
I'm trying to explain to you why we're in the predicament we're in. Because
Oh, dude, you don't have to
literally
explain
how
to
many
me anything. I get why we're at where we're at.
drafted,
I know that.
But now here's my point. Don't pay good players great money.
No, that's for sure.
Yeah,
that's
so
what
you're
we
talking about
He hasn't drafted a great player yet.
the elephant in the room. You're saying don't pay Tua.
He's one of them. He's not great. Can you tell me he's great? Anybody on here, tell me he's great with a straight face.
I'm telling you that we're not going to find anybody that's better than Tua anytime soon.
You don't know that.
Hold on before you interrupt
me. How could you say that?
Because he's top 5 QB, and there's the other 4 aren't coming to us anytime soon. And if you don't think he's a top 5 QB,
you can find a QB anywhere.
And you can have your own opinion on that.
Right.
No, you can't find a top 5 QB anywhere.
My opinion
and thank you guys for keeping it respectful. Thank you. I don't mind debates, but you guys
don't
are
get me
keeping
wrong.
it respectful. Thank you.
You keep Tua, but you start looking around behind his back. I don't care. This is not a nice business.
Who's going to come play behind Tua that's better than Tua?
They're already doing that, bro. You got Skylar Thompson sitting at 3rd on your bench.
No. I'm not talking about Skylar Thompson. I'm talking about putting some pressure on this kid and saying your job can be taken by a 2nd-round pick. That's what I'm doing. Tomorrow, if the draft was tomorrow, I'm taking a QB and I'm letting Tua, and I'm saying, yeah, Tua, you got a problem with that? Beat him out. That's it.
Yeah, and then we don't have an offensive line, and everybody's complaining about how we're not doing any good, and complaining about how Tua's not doing any good.
You guys are just like the coach. You guys are too nice.
Offensive line.
You guys are too nice. You're just like McDaniel. You got to make hard decisions in this business. If Tua's not good enough, you got to cut bait. That's it. I don't care. I want to win.
Man, cutting bait would be the stupidest thing we ever did.
Yeah, I humbly disagree. You can't just keep dropping quarterbacks every year. It's just like the coaches every year. You can't keep dropping offensive
firing
line
coaches all the time either.
every year.
In the same
you can't just keep doing that. You're going to get the same thing you've gotten every time you've done it before, bro. Haven't you learned your lesson? You're a battered Dolphins fan. You know better than that.
I know that we don't have great players.
G-Man, real quick, though. To be fair, though, like saying Nick Bosa, yeah, it's great, but they also had the 2nd overall pick of the draft that year, So it's like,
we had like 2 or 3. We were up there, and Greer kept trading down for some reason.
No, I know that. I mean, that is maybe where you can ding him. Just take the best player instead of trading down the one.
Who'd you rather have right now? Jamar Chase or Jalen Waddle?
Yeah, so. No,
well, yeah, I mean, you can look at any draft and say, gee, we made the wrong place.
We could have had Jamar Chase
out there that's better than us that we could have had. I mean, you can do that with any team on any draft.
But I'm not a GM.
Phillips. I know he's injured right now in G-Man, but where do you put Jalen Phillips?
He's exactly what I said about everybody else. He's good. Is he great? Was Jason Phillips a terror off the edge, and was he dominating games? No. Stop lowering the bar. You guys are just satisfied with good. Good's not going to win you a Super Bowl.
Yeah. But anyway, I agree with what Steve Aloy says, man. But right now, we just got to win. And right now, all these debates will be safe for the off season. So
good is only going to take you so far.
But talking about it all year is only going to make you a sad fan. I mean, realistically, you gotta, and I'm saying this to you, Dolph fan, because I see you on chat and everything, and I'm not disrespecting you. I'm saying that your negative take all the time on the team and the outlook and where we're at and what's going on, it's not going to change anything. That's what other people are saying. We're not the coaches. And The
I'm not thinking it's
idea
going to
that
change anything.
now, well,
I'm,
okay, then
what's
my
there to be
point
positive
is
about? What's there to be
what's
positive
there
about
to
the
be
last 40
positive?
years?
Okay, let me give you what's positive about. Give me 2 minutes. We had not had a top 10 offense since Dan Marino until last year, where we got up to number 6. That's a fact.
Don't
Right
care.
now, we have a top, I know you don't care, but I'm happy about it.
I want to win.
We have a top 10 offense. We have a top 10 defense. We're
Don't
second
care.
seed from winning because we've been winning more than every other team other than one team in the AFC. We're winning, winning, winning. Right. So here we are. We got a top 10 offense, top 10 defense, and we're winning. We're second in the top seeding. And we have a defensive coach that got us from a 25th start all the way up to a top 10. I'm happy about that. So, if fans can't be happy about that, fans we haven't even hit a playoff we hadn't won a playoff game in how long? And fans are like, well, we're not doing good enough right now, and I'm not happy. Now, if you want to complain in the whole off season, have big discussions in the off season about what's going on, that's cool. But to spend the whole season basically crying about everything that's not perfect when we're doing this good is just ruining the season. Why are you going to ruin your whole season
So
and
you're
be
right, man.
negative?
I'm with you on that, Joe, and the fact that you got to just play this season out, let it go its course, see if we get that elusive playoff victory. Like you mentioned, it hasn't been a playoff win since the year 2000, way too long to have a playoff win. So I understand where G-Man's coming from. I understand it, G-Man, but this season has been better than some
No,
others.
but I want you guys to understand that with the draft picks Greer had, he hasn't hit gold yet. He's hit a lot of silver, but no gold.
Okay.
You know what I'm
No,
saying?
that's
After
a
the season, we can worry about that. But right now, enjoy
Well,
the
that's
freaking
a
games, man.
problem. That's a
Pop a
problem.
beer, bring your friends around, enjoy the game, enjoy what's going right, enjoy the direction. I mean, anybody that doesn't think that we're going in an upward trajectory is just being negative.
I
We are
don't know about
definitely
that.
going. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm
I'm not.
saying. People that
I'm not sure
refuse
about
to
that.
accept that we're on an upward trajectory with our coaching staff. I mean, the reason we
I don't know
haven't had
about
an
that.
offensive line is because we haven't had an offensive line coaching staff. We
Justin, if I
actually
hit you out
can
by
get.
mistake, Justin, that was my mistake. You can come back in. I don't know. I was trying to bring him back in and I
Throw
somehow
him out.
lost him, unless he fell out. So, but anyway, I say, look, this week we just got to worry about the New
Wait, I
York
got a
Jets.
question for that guy. You're telling me right now, as you sit here, you're absolutely 100% sure about McDaniel, that he's the guy? I'm
He's
not.
definitely better than any coach we've had since Shula.
That's not what I asked you.
Well, that's where the reality of where we are. I mean, everybody wants Mahomes. Everybody wants Andy Reid. Let's just go get them. I mean, we're in a situation where every other team is out there getting paid. Every other team wants to be where we are.
Listen to what you said. He's
Oh, accidentally dropped him.
All right. Yeah, I know. Well, I may have lost some people. Let's see.
No, he's back. Go ahead. Continue. Can we hear you? Hey,
G-Man,
you're
are
back,
you there,
G-Man.
G-Man?
Can you hear us? We can see you.
Uh,
G-Man,
talk to you, man.
can
Oh,
try to say something. See if we can
okay.
hear you.
Well, hey guys, I dropped the link. Here we come. Evan Posner. Hey, Evan,
I
how
can't
are
listen
you?
to this anymore. I can't listen to this anymore.
Okay. So, Evan, so what's your take on some of what we're saying
Let hook
today?
up.
What's that? No, okay, he's okay.
I'm here. I'm here.
Well, guys, while we're at this, hit those thumbs up for me, man. Let's get those thumbs up. So, Evan, how are you today?
I'm working, but I was listening and I couldn't listen to it anymore. So I said I would jump in and surprise you.
Hey, I like it, man. Awesome. So, where do you think now that you've had a little time to recover since that Monday night debacle? How are you feeling?
You know how I feel about our team. I love our football team. But Thirsty, you've known me a long time. We've been in person. We've talked Dolphins for I don't know how many hours.
Yep.
Going back to last season in that Chargers game, I was already before that already criticizing McDaniel. Now, is McDaniel a brilliant mind? Is he a great players coach? Yes, 1000%. But you know this, that from that Chargers game, which ironically was the second game in December, Mike McDaniel, I have criticized his play calling. What took the cake for me in terms of his overall criticism was the game in Buffalo where he did not when he was running 7 yards a carry. I understand what Hookup Joe was talking about pulling back, but we were running 7 yards a carry. You're on the verge of a drive to go win a game. You have 4th down, and instead of running the football with Mostert, you decided to throw a screen pass to Tyreek. And as you know, last week I told you this after the Kansas City game, that if McDaniel calls one more screen pass to Tyreek in the backfield to start off with negative yards, where he's already 5 yards back and he now has to make up those 5 yards, plus you're putting him in position to either get injured or you're positioned to lose yards. And every time he throws it to Tyreek, it may work 1 out of 10 times. Mike McDaniel, for me, cost us that football game. And the reason why I say it cost us the football game is the fact that when that defense gave up that touchdown and made it 26-21, number one, I made the joke, but I was half serious, that Fangio must have fallen asleep because it was past his bedtime in the press box, because that was the most weak prevent defense I've ever seen. I've been saying to you, Bobby, and everyone on the Finstock Sports Network that I want Fangio on the bench down on the field, because if that would have been Shula, Jimmy Johnson, Brian Flores, that defense would have been destroyed. And Acho said this week on Tuesday, which was 100% when you look back on it. It's very nice when you're winning football games, you're winning by 50. You want to start doing the roller coaster, the rowboat, all this kind of stuff, great. But when you don't deserve to win football games the way they were playing Monday night, they were gifted 2 touchdowns. And on those 2 touchdowns that the Titans basically handed to you, you are basically jumping like you've just won the Super Bowl by doing these celebrations. They're too relaxed with this team. This is a team where the window is they have 2 years. And what it showed last week, that without Tyreek Hill on that field, Mike McDaniel is lost as a play caller. He had the same struggle without Tua, where Skylar Thompson could not throw a touchdown all last season with having Waddle and Tyreek on the field. When he had the opportunity, when they scored those 2 touchdowns, he was able to go onto the field and run the football. They scored those 2 touchdowns. But on the previous 2 opportunities where they settled for 3 points, what did he do? He threw the ball 6 times and 2 fades. And who's he throwing the fades to? Short receivers versus Chase Claypool. And then you have Devon Achane, who hardly has not gone for 1 deep pass, and you're throwing him a deep pass where he's hesitating because he's not used to doing it. He did that last year, I think, with Jeff Wilson, and he dropped the ball too. He did it with Braylon Sanders as well. Mike McDaniel is a brilliant mind, but he's so smart, he's stupid. Because what he's doing is he's trying to prove a point because of the weapons that he has. You know this, Thirsty. You've talked about it with Steve. Jalen Waddle is not the same receiver. He's not elite right now. He's dropping balls. He's miscommunicating with Tua. And I don't know what it is. It's the pheromones in that head coach's office. But whether it's Flores being stubborn with the offense, now McDaniel, I don't understand what he's doing here. He just keep it simple. In the month of December, take the wins as you get them. They're only going to get more difficult. And the worst part about it is no one's taking responsibility. They're just standing at the podium, very lackadaisically. Oh, we should have done this. We should have done that. You had 13 weeks to figure this out, Mike McDaniel. You've had 2 full seasons. You have a great coaching staff. You have great players on the field, but you're not utilizing them. You haven't seen JP. I don't want to hear about the scheme not understanding it. Jalen Waddle knows the scheme. Braxton Berrios knows the scheme. Just because Tyreek Hill is not on the field as a decoy doesn't mean you can't utilize other aspects. Where was Jeff Wilson last game? Jeff Wilson's been back for 3 games, has had maybe 7 or 8 carries in 3 games. He's not utilizing his weapons. And yes, the offensive line is not has not been great the last 2 weeks, and it's getting exposed. But that basically says Tyreek Hill is the MVP of the league, and without Tyreek Hill, you can't do much. But that means you're not a great coach, because if you can only rely on one player to sustain your offense, that's a very, very big problem. So for me, Mike McDaniel, right now, I don't trust him, because even when something is facing him straight in the face, he doesn't go with it. He's outsmarting himself.
I agree that and to to be fair to myself, I'm not also saying that he is Shula. I'm saying he's the best
No.
coach we've had in a
Oh,
while.
he had no.
And
He is the best coach we've had.
and the reason that I like him as a coach is because he went out and got Fangio. He didn't have so much of an ego that he's not going to have somebody else in there doing something. He has that going for him. What I also like is that he is the actual mind that's making the offensive piece go, and he got the person to do the defense. And that's important because somebody's not going to come steal our offensive coordinator, and all of a sudden we don't have an offense anymore because somebody came and stole our offensive mind. So the fact that I didn't want a first year coach, and I didn't want a coach that called his own plays. Like when we were searching for a coach, those were my two
Right.
big things I didn't want, and I got McDaniel. You know what I mean? So, but I feel like I was wrong about that because of the fact that we can't lose McDaniel unless somebody's going to come steal our head coach from
Well, I
us.
agree on
It's
that
like,
part. And a Moya, big fins up to you, Moya, for coming in here. I saw you sneak in. Big fins up, guys. Nail those thumbs up. But no, I think a lot of us just remember Dolphins recent, and that's why all these we just see it coming again. I know Evan, you were saying 9-8, here we come, but I have a feeling that we are going to beat the Jets. We're going to have to find where there's will, there's a way. We're going to have to beat the Jets, and then after that, I'm very worried. I'd be
No, we're going to
honest.
be. I'm concerned about the game only because the team does not look concerned. They understand that they're going to go. This season is the one memory I have of this season right now is they scored 70 points in one game, and they are the one team since the 1970s to blow a 13-point lead with under 3 minutes left. If you have the number one rated offense in the league and you have the ball twice, and you can't have any sustained offense to close out your football game because Tyreek Hill wasn't at 100%.
we're saying you should have run the ball, so that wasn't 100% Tyreek. Actually, you know what?
But he's a decoy, right? But he didn't run the ball. But even when they did that, when they had fourth down, they were throwing screens. They weren't throwing slants. They weren't utilizing Jalen Waddle's speed down the field. In those games, I would have, if you wanted to chuck it down the field, I would have chucked it down the field to try to force a pass interference call. They didn't do that. They didn't do anything. For me right now, Mike McDaniel is one of the best parts of this team, but he's also one of the worst parts of this team. And Vic Fangio does not belong in the booth. The best defensive coordinators that exist are on the sidelines with their football team. They're on the sidelines. They're not sitting there in a booth hiding. When you go see the teams that have won, and you used to see them win Super Bowls, you see them on the sideline. You don't see them hiding in a booth. And for me, there's no accountability there. Like can you imagine Brian Flores? I'm not a fan of Brian Flores. If Bradley Chubb slants his helmet there, he may not see the bench. And then you see Bradley Chubb after he got that recovery and scored, like him doing this. You're lucky because we should have won that football game in spite of your stupidity. So for me, all I can say is right now, our biggest Achilles heel on this football team isn't our offensive line. It's our head coach because no one's fearful of him. No one is fearful that he is going to make them accountable when they make a mistake. Like,
Okay,
Brian,
I do want to respond to that when
you can. At the same time, Tua, I don't understand what's happening with him, but I made the joke that I think he's taking jujitsu to another level and falling a little too much. But the big thing I lost a lot of respect for Tua on, and I don't understand this, and linebackers learn this. If you play football, you know this. When a football's on the ground and you drop it, you fall on it. You don't pick it up when five guys are coming backwards and 5 guys are coming forward and try to make a play in the red zone. You fall on the football and you play for another day. What does Tua do? Let me try and pick up the football again in the red zone and try to make a play when he would have had another play. He still had another down
I think
to go.
that most people would have said if he dropped on it that he was just a sissy and he dropped on it and he was scared. He didn't try to.
I don't care, but why should he care what other people think? He's the guy.
Well, I'm just telling you that we're in a no-win situation in that scenario.
But who cares? As long as we win the football game, no one cares. right?
No, I don't think they would have said. They would have just
But
said fall on him because
think about this.
that's why they picked on Cam Newton in the Super Bowl for not falling on it when
Right,
it was just
exactly.
way back in
I'm
the
the
day.
biggest
But
bandwagoner guy out there. I overreact to the nth degree, but on this particular occasion, and Thirsty, you know this because I pick on Jason Sanders and I haven't picked on him in weeks. Mike McDaniel has the second best running attack in the NFL, and in spite of the fact that he doesn't use the run.
I don't know. We're 13 in rush attempts, but number
Yeah.
2 in rush
If you
yards.
think about that, it doesn't make any sense. He has 3 weapons on the running game. Tua's not having the best game, but let's keep on giving the ball to Tua and a weakened offensive line. It doesn't make any sense. And what do you have to lose by bringing Claypool into a game and giving him a shot down the field? What is the point of using Waddle down the field? When's the last time you saw Waddle go deep? When's the last time you saw Waddle go deep?
I know he went deep one game, but yeah, we didn't
Not last
connect with
week.
him.
He
I
You know,
was
the
going to
weird
Wilson
thing
instead.
is that statistically, Tua is a lot better statistically. His passer rating's better. His everything about what he does except total yards is better when Hill is off the field. And so they should be utilizing the other players better when Hill's not on the field and he's got a higher passer rating and he's doing better overall. That kind of means that he is forcing it to Hill when he is on the field. But luckily, Hill has only played 63 or less % of the snaps in the last 4 games.
Yeah.
So he's
Let me
not
do
out
some-
there every single play. It's not like it's the Tyreek Hill show when he's playing 63 or less % of the whole snaps on the offense.
Yeah. Let me do some kudos real quick. Hey, Miss Finns is in the house. Make sure you check her every Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Big fan of the channel. She's a big fan of my channel, so I'm honored. It's awesome. Thank you, Miss Finns, for popping in this morning. Your show was on fire this morning. And guys, if you didn't see it, she had Richmond Webb on her show yesterday. Go check that out. Good stuff always from Miss Finns. And who else snuck in there? I haven't said hi yet to. Oh, Booty Cheeks. Hey, Booty Cheeks. Thank you. First time ever in the room. Big fins up. If you like the show at the end of the day, tackle that subscribe button. I appreciate you being in here. So now, guys, you can get back. I just saw
And let
I
me
had
just
some
be
people I
clear.
had.
Two things are going to happen this weekend. Either the Miami Dolphins are going to cover and win by two plus touchdowns, and it's going to be a repeat of what happened in New York, or it's going to be you're going to know very quickly in the first quarter whether or not this is going to be a 17-13 game. It all depends on how Mike McDaniel attacks this game. And the weather's not supposed to be great. It's supposed to pour in Miami tomorrow. It's not supposed to be great. And I said this before in the comments, that's the perfect excuse to run the football. And if I was Mike McDaniel and I was the Dolphins, I wouldn't play Tyreek. I wouldn't play him because you need him for the playoffs. You need him for a deeper run. You need him for the Cowboys game to force him to play football. In a game like this, you should have between Claypool, Waddle, Wilson, Berrios, and Craycraft and Chosen enough guys to win this football game if you have a balanced attack. If you can't win a football game against the New York stinking Jets without Tyreek Hill, then what are you doing here in the tops of the division? What are you doing here?
And don't use him
right,
out
guys.
on the field for a decoy by having him out there just as a decoy.
Yeah, exactly. Like I would not play him. Like I would, if you had a choice, I'd rather play. We need Holland more than we need Tyreek this weekend because the defense does not look the same without Javon Holland in center field. The last few games, the defense has not been as great. Ramsey's been great, but even Ramsey looked everywhere. This would be a 17 game. Either team can win it. If it's a 17-13 game, I made this call on Monday. If it's a 17-13 game, the Dolphins lose. The Dolphins lose because they're not going to be that. That means they're struggling. That means they're struggling to get a sustained offensive going throughout the football game. And if you're struggling at home in Miami on Sunday, you have a big problem. And that does not bode well for the rest of the season. They need to get back because if they don't dominate games, the Dolphins, they end up getting close to losing games. Because you know this, Thursday, you were at the Raiders game. That was not fun. When they don't, when the Dolphins have to keep it tight and keep it below 20 points, it is a very uncomfortable game for the Miami Dolphins. It is not what they're used to doing. They're better off playing a game 40-37 than 17-13. If it's 17-13, watch out. It's going to be an L because they're not going to sustain it. They're going to blow it. That's just how Mike McDaniel is because when he gets the ball, Robert Saleh will run the ball all day with Breece Hall. Mike McDaniel will try to throw his way out of winning this game to get to past 20 points. And there will be a turnover. Tua will force something, and they'll lose the football game. And this is coming from a bandwagoner, a guy who's pro Tua. But you're putting Tua in positions to fail, Mike McDaniel.
And Moya made a
Okay,
point.
I'm back.
Oh, I'm
My
sorry.
internet went out here. I was trying to do the poll, and I think I bought my internet to up. Sorry there, Timothy Washington. I think he was the one saying do a poll to see how many great players people think we have. Then when I opened up the YouTube channel, I started fading out on myself. So we will see. But man, you guys are all bringing the love today. Thank you guys. Make sure you hit those thumbs up. And
Yeah,
Evan,
5
it's a
minutes.
pleasure having you in here today.
I always
And
promise to be. Oh, I've been quiet. You should be honest. I've been quiet for the week, right? You never hear me this quiet.
yeah, I know that's you've been good, man. Hey, we got another guest coming in here. He's always on the positive side, so we'll see how he's still rolling this week. Dolphin Don, how are you today?
Yeah, okay. I was negative at the very start there. Tuesday, I was just kind of picking up the pieces because I had flipped off my TV screen several times when they showed the Tennessee coach. But anyway, I'm back on it. I took a good look at the game. The defense did fail, but it was because the offense, like Evan said, put a hell of a lot of pressure on those guys because went 3-and-out, 3-and-out, 3-and-out. And we kept trying that janky screen that got blasted in the KC game, and I don't know why we kept going back to it. But yeah, there's I want to say a big warm, happy thank you to the Tennessee Titans because we all saw what happened to the Raiders against the Vikes, and now look at them. So I'm kind of keeping the hope alive that we're going to come out, maybe we don't have name brand offensive linemen against this great number one Jets defense, but I feel like, okay, we're going to be playing with some fire. We're going to be ready to go finally.
Well, I
That's my
hope so. They need to come out with fire. This is a good test. This is going to be a testament to how they respond. If they come out like Evan says and they're flat, then this team just doesn't have that extra oomph in them. And because there's no reason they should come out flat against a division rival after coming off a loss that you were supposed to win. I hate that term, but it is what it is, that we were favored to win. And if we come out flat against the Jets, then I don't know. All bets are off for the rest of the season for the Dolphins.
Another reason to run the football is you're going against DJ Reed and Sauce, and if Tyreek does not play or Tyreek's not 100%, they're not going to be forced to double cover him. You need the place where the Jets struggle is on their run defense. So run the football. It's not that complicated. If the weather's not great, it's raining, it's a perfect time to run the football. And like I tell you this Thursday, I trust Jason Sanders to kick a 55-yarder than I do for the Dolphins to get positive yardage on the screen pass. They are the worst at screen passes. You want to know why? Because Mike Tua is a platform thrower. He needs to be set. And when he's forcing himself to throw these screens, he's not set. He doesn't step back. He's uncomfortable. He's just throwing with his arm. He's not stepping in, and he ends up floating it. And by the time the receiver gets the ball, he's crushed. And think about it, Tua, the way he's been forcing the ball, he almost got A-Chain destroyed, and he almost got Jalen Waddle killed twice on Monday.
No, I know he did get.
He was irresponsible. They say this in hockey. Like it's a bang, bang play. You're putting your position in a position to get hurt. And that's what Tua was doing on Monday. He was forcing, and he was throwing these little floaters that by the time the person got the football, the guy was going to get crushed. I honestly, balance the attack. I would be disappointed. I don't want Tua to get 350 yards on Sunday. I want him to get 200. I want to have 250 yards from Tua and 200 yards of running. And if we get 200 yards of running, you're going to dominate the clock. You can still put up 28 to 31 points because Mostert right now should be the league leader. Should be the leader in Miami Dolphins, tied with Duper at 18. He should have had 2 more touchdowns on those 2 drives where he ended up settling for 6. It's ridiculous. And by the way, I mentioned this in the comments before. A couple of years ago, when McDaniel wasn't the coach, we used to use Christian Wilkins as a fullback, pushing the line forward on sneaks when we were in the goal line. I would have Ingo going across or Smythe going across, hike the ball to him, have Tua on the side, and then have Wilkins push. Like, do something. Try something different. You have nothing to lose. Throwing a fade to Jalen Waddle or Tyreek Hill in the corner where Tua is not 100% accurate you're asking for an interception in the red zone. You're not doing what you need to do. Be smart. Keep it simple. High percentage plays, like Justin said before. On Sunday, high percentage plays, dink and dunk it wherever you need to, but stop throwing these stupid screens. Throw slants. Go back to the honestly. Go watch the tape from 3 years ago when Waddle got 100-something yard receptions where he was coming across the middle. Do something, but stop doing the same stupid stuff.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Hey,
we need to be
Capper,
MacGyver.
you're one of those person that snuck in. I didn't get to say, hey, big fins up to you, Cap for life, as always. And all you guys coming in there. So yeah, it's almost at the end of the show here, guys. You guys did awesome coming in. But hey, all we have to do, go out, win. We're still in control of
Are you
our
going
own
to the
destiny
game?
as far as the AFC East.
Wait, are you going to the game?
Yeah, I'm going to go with, and finally with my oldest son who's driving down from
Aren't you
Gainesville on
3-0?
Saturday.
You're
it'll be the
3-0,
first
right?
game. What's that?
The only positive I'll take out of this is the fact that you haven't lost a game this year.
Yep, that's it. I have not. Yes, they've kicked butt every game.
You better be wearing the same T-shirt. You better be wearing the same T-shirt
Yeah.
to the game.
Yeah, no, I will. But I'm gonna wear my AJ Dewey over the same T-shirt. I think I can do a walk around. I have to wear that AJ Dewey against the Jets. It's just like it's just too perfect of a jersey to wear, not to wear against the Jets of all teams. It's just troll some old New York fans walking around. So, hey, Joe, I'm sorry you've been quiet a little bit. Any final Friday thoughts for you, Joe?
No, man, I pretty much got it all out. I appreciate it.
I know. Hey,
Fins
and
up.
I respect all you guys because other rooms and on Twitter, people are nasty with each other. You guys may disagree in here, but you all kept it right. We may not all agree with G-Man, but he kept it. He never got mad at us. We never got mad. That's how we should talk as Dolphin fans. So that's a good lesson, guys. I like it. So you guys all kept it respectful. Thank you, Joe and Don and Evan for keeping it nice and respectful. Let me know we may disagree on some takes.
Can I throw a plug in before you go?
Yeah, of course. I was going to get to you next.
Because you guys haven't seen me, because you haven't seen me on the Fins Talk Sports Network all week. Don't forget to check out Fins Talk today, tomorrow, because I'll be guest hosting again.
Okay, so tomorrow, that's at noon, guys.
I promise to be a little more positive there.
It's Fins Talk Sports Network tomorrow at noon. Dolphin Don, any final thoughts?
Yeah, just awesome takes to Joe and Evan and everybody who's been up here today. But I also want to kind of dovetail on what Evan was saying. Yeah, McDaniel, we need you to be MacGyver now.
Yeah.
Go ahead and try some new things. I want to see some timing with HN and Tua. Hey, what about a wheel route? He's got the speed, so
or try the jet sweeps. Honestly, try a jet sweep. I don't care. Try that with Waddle. Try that with A-Chain. Try something.
Sweep the Jets with a jet sweep.
Hey man, I actually got some. This is the first time I actually seen Twitter comments pop up. I got a Twitter. Hey, Utah Fins fan, good job, go Dolphins. There's a couple other guys I saw on Twitter. If I didn't name you by name, but that's awesome. I didn't even know that feature was available. I never seen a Twitter comment pop up in my feed before. That is awesome. I don't know if that's something new. That is cool though. Hey, Joe, Miss Finn still loves you, but she disagrees with some of your takes, Joe. So I don't know if Joe's still there. Joe, are you still there?
Yeah, I know. That's cool. A lot of people disagree with my takes, but that's cool.
That's true.
I don't disagree with you.
Yeah, no, we all have takes that people disagree with.
I'm just hardened by the fact that I said something last year, and it's not adjusting itself. Right? There's a lack of adjustments from the Miami Dolphins, and if our offense is supposed to be the leader of this team, not our defense, then there's zero reason why we couldn't have had a sustained drive to kill the clock to end the football game. Like to be under to be 240 left and not be able to go down the field with this offense tells you that there's something wrong with the play calling. Simple as that.
Yeah. No, hey, and I agree with all you guys. No more screens to Tyreek Hill, please, McDaniel, because all week, all these defensive players probably here in the defensive meetings, don't let number 10 beat you. Don't let number 10 beat you. And then you throw a screen where he's out in front of you and all you have to do is close in on him. It's just you set it up too easy because that's the guy they're telling don't let you beat. You know that's the game plan all week. Don't let 10 beat you. And he's gotten hurt twice on that play. He's fumbled on that play. I don't know how much more of a lesson you need not to run that screenplay to Tyreek Hill anymore.
Yeah, so, that's a fail right there. Yeah.
My wife's calling me, so I'm heading out. Fins up.
All right. Thank you, Dolphin Don. All
Fins
right.
up.
No. All right. Hey, Evan, thank you. I'm out of here.
See you
guys
later.
all. Okay. Well, you got something else to say?
No, I said see you later. Thanks. I just
Oh,
have
okay. See you later.
I'm working. I'm multitasking.
Yeah. Hey, that's awesome, man. So don't work too hard, Evan. Thank you for joining, guys. Nail those thumbs up buttons. They really help, and they're free for you. And it gives a good Friday feeling for my Dolphins Thirsty channel. So with no further ado, I'm locking out. Go Dolphins. Keep it going. And, we will be okay if we come out on the winning side this week. Vince, up to you all. You guys are great. Dolphins go.
Dolphins thirsty, they never show no mercy. On the field or in the game, Miami knows how to play. Dolphins thirsty, we all get down and dirty. Tell you what you wanna know, it's the Dolphins Show. Quench your thirst for all things Miami Dolphins. They are the football kings, cause they play to win. Come on in and have some fun, whether we have lost or we have won, for all things